So what are some of the new job titles that you're seeing? Job titles and job descriptions with big data, with all the new systems of data.
Well, I'm not. A lot of that are just the old job titles revamped. I mean, we've had data architects around forever, and there's still data architects. You have enterprise architects. There's still enterprise architects. You have, the coders are doing coding. That's not really what
even like
the
marketing
title.
operations and like so.
But those are
yeah.
different. Those are forward. Those are facing, right? They're not IT jobs. These are. There are the marketing. You're actually touching on a really funny area, right? Which is the whole MarTech world at the moment. Look, a lot of that was spurred. There were two things that spurred MarTech per se. One was Scott Brinker's MarTech 7000, now 7000 mass confusion infographic, and then the other one was Gartner coming out at one point saying now CMOs own IT budgets. Now that's already disappeared. They don't own IT budgets anymore because they're not capable of owning IT budgets. That did create a job category around MarTech, right? Meaning you have a marketing tech, a marketing ops guy. You've always had marketing ops guys, but marketing technicians, right? Yeah. They do exist now as a job category. That said, their value is somewhat limited, to be honest. I mean, an IT guy can still handle marketing technology, right? And there's the more important new jobs are in the world of engagement and experience and things like that.
Is that not marketing operations though?
No, marketing operations. Operations are operations, right? How you run your business.
Yeah.
Right. Things like VP of customer engagement, or director, or customer engagement specialist, or customer experience coordinator, whatever, because everyone makes up a title, or those titles are more customer facing directly, meaning how you interact with customers. They're more strategic in terms of what they offer, and they're more right brain than left, meaning if I'm a customer engagement specialist, my job is to figure out how to interact better with customers, right? And that's my job. My job isn't the technology. My job isn't running the business. My job is interacting with customers and figuring out how to do that better.
But you have to do that with the data that you're...
Right. But it's, again, data's dumb. Yeah. By nature, it's dumb. It's what you do with it that matters. I actually wrote in my newer book, a whole section on that. Right? Just data is utterly meaningless unless you're actually without any context. Look,
But there has to be someone who's professional at creating context for it. Is that person, or is there someone else?
Well, they're professional at understanding context and creating context. So, for example, I have all this data. I run algorithms. The algorithms parse all that data. They come up with a map of things related to that data that they found. My job as a person, as a human being, is to look at that and say, this is something that really, this thing here is really meaningful to us. We should do something here, right? Meaning the insight comes from the human. It's not coming from the data or the parsing of the data or the algorithms or the analytics being run on it. It's coming from the person. What the algorithms being run on that data are doing is giving me the means or giving me the knowledge I need to come up with the insight.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the strength. I don't know if you saw the example I gave, if you have a list of ingredients in a recipe with no title to that, you don't know what you're making.
Yeah.
But the minute you got a title, you know what it is. But here's the thing. As a human being, you make it literally that way, let's say, and you taste it. You go, not perfect. And you tweak it.
Yeah.
That's the insight. The insight is I needed more milk than that recipe called for. And I knew it because when I looked at that recipe and I looked at 20 other recipes that looked just like it, the milk was really low by comparison to all the others. And then when I tasted it, that proved it, right? So that's human coming up with insight. All that other stuff's available to you.
But it's the better you are, for example, for me, I'm the better I am with cameras, the more I know the technology,
right?
The better I know I was able to take this picture. I was able to get it to that way because I know that the lens functions that way.
Right.
So because I know that this lens is capable of doing X,
right?
So you have to be So not only do you have to be very technical, and you also have to be creative, right? You have to know work with what you have to work with what the tools you have, and be able to know them as best as you can, and also be creative in the sense that you're able to piece together to get the best.
Look, technology enables you to do things. It doesn't drive them,
Yeah.
though. You decide what you want to do, and then you acquire the technology that helps you do it, right? And then you make the decisions on acquiring that technology, right? You research and you say, this Shure SM58 mic works best for the environment I'm using, given my budget and constraints that I do have.
Yeah.
Right? If you had an unlimited budget, you might buy a different mic, but you
Yeah.
don't. See that? Because that's the other side. Companies, every company in this world has constraints. They're born with it. They're born with regulatory constraints, financial constraints,
Yeah.
labor constraints, you name it, they're born with it. And so, they have, if they're a big company, say they have 300 million customers or something, they can't do everything every customer wants. It's
Yeah.
impossible. They go broke, right? So they have to figure out what they can do in the context of their constraints that at the same time satisfies what their customer's asking them to do.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. It's very hard to do. I would be out of business if it wasn't. But, the thing is that but human beings are the ones making these decisions all the time on what to approach. So let's say I'm consulting with a company. I'm saying, here's 3 different things, given everything we've just discussed, all the data you've given me, in effect. Some of it verbally, some of it I'm looking at. Here's 3 things I think you could do. This one will break your bank. This one won't. This one won't. But if you want the ultimate you want the greatest result, you'll break your bank. If you want the optimal result, you'll do the one in the middle. You want a good result, but it'll also protect you a bit more financially, you do the one at the end. So I'm giving them 3 choices. I walk away, and then they say, They basically have 4 choices. We'll do this one. We'll do this one. We'll do this one. Or we won't do any of them, right? And they have to make that decision, and it's based on their deciding on what's most valuable approach to them, and at the same time effectively satisfies the main contingent, main objective, which is, how do we make our customers happy?